Hey y'all, Kentucky Farmer here, and we are back for the 23rd episode in my FS17 Goldcrest Valley Let's Play series. In the last episode, we did a little bit of field work, bought a couple fields. Episode before that, we bought a little bit of machinery. In the meanwhile, I've actually been... there's a little gap in these videos. I've been kind of busy the last couple of weeks with work and Thanksgiving, and also last weekend one of the other games that I really enjoy playing is No Man's Sky, and it's kind of an open world space exploration game. I kind of like it for the same reasons why I like Farming Simulator. It's a pretty relaxing game. It's not like a fast-paced shooter. You just kind of wander around space and planets and find stuff. And I played that game when it first came out for quite a while, but then it kind of runs out. Like you get to a point where you're like, well, this is a whole lot of the exact same, right? And so it kind of gets boring. Well, they released an update for it that included a whole lot of features, so I've been spending a bit of my gaming free time on that game. But exciting news in the world of Farming Simulator: the beta for Courseplay is out. Unlike some of the other YouTubers I've noticed, I'm not going to run out and start churning out Courseplay videos yet. I follow their GitHub project, and I'm watching the support tickets roll through on it, and it's definitely still in beta. So I'm going to give the developers a few more weeks. I'll start using it in my gameplay, and if I find any issues, I'll definitely be submitting bug reports for that too. But then, once they get a couple of releases under their belt, then I'll start making videos for it. But I really don't want to make videos for a beta version of a piece of software or a mod that, could be changing. So I've also spent, between the last video and this video, I've spent quite a few hours on this game doing missions. So I'll bring up my HUD here. And, well, let's see. I should probably go on this screen. Yeah. So, as you can see from the growth type, I did the harvest missions down here. And plowed and planted 25. Yeah. So it's interesting that these are being, I guess the NPC or the game cultivated 28 and 29 because I harvested them, but then I didn't plow them. So the game must have cultivated them. So I guess if in a few more hours, if I don't do anything, the game will automatically plant them too. And then we've got a couple other fields here that are in their second stage, ready to harvest. We have two fields here that are actually first stage. Well, three fields, 17, 19, and 24 we own and are ready to be harvested. So hopefully I'm starting to get to the point here where the work on our fields will keep me busy with the episodes, so I won't be spending as much time probably doing missions. A lot of the fields now, I am up to the point where I have a full reputation with the farmer for, as far as I know, basically every field. So when I'm ready to buy any of them, I shouldn't have to do any more missions before I buy them. And hopefully we'll also be at the point where, I'm pretty comfortable with the equipment that I have. There's a couple more pieces I'd like to buy. But I think we got enough equipment for now until we start moving into more large-scale logging, silage production. Cattle will need a little bit more equipment for that, and then beets and potatoes, of course. So for the core part of the game, I think we're pretty well set on equipment at this point too. So hopefully I won't need as much spending money anymore. So I'm going to try and spend more time just putting out episodes focusing on the fields that I own. So in this episode, I'll probably harvest 19 and 24, potentially 17. Well, I guess it also depends what's on these fields. Okay. So 24 has corn, and I need a corn header. So I'm going to have to drive down to the shop with the combine, get the corn header. I'll harvest 17, and then I'll come back over and harvest 24 after that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that in this episode. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and hop in my combine. And I'm just going to drive the combine over the road. I don't have a semi or a lowboy yet, and one of the reasons why I went with this New Holland is because it goes 24 miles an hour, which is a little better than, well, I think it is better than any of the other combines. I'm pretty sure this one has the fastest highway speed. Definitely the fastest of the large combines. So I'm just going to head down to the shop, and then I'll pick the video back up when I get there. Alright, so we are back down here at the shop. Let's go ahead and open up the store page here and get us a corn header. And if you notice, my balance is back up now. I think in the last episode it was around $100 and something thousand. We're back up to 350 after all those missions. So we've got money to buy a couple pieces. But again, I don't want to get too carried away spending money. Actually, one of the other things, let's check here. So yesterday we had 3,951 of vehicle running costs, 530 of animal upkeep, and $6 of property maintenance. So our property income is not keeping up with our running costs anymore. So we will need to buy a solar panel too. So seed cost, fertilizer cost, yeah. All right. So let's get that corn header. And of course, I'm just going to buy the big Capello. Yeah. Let's just go with black on black, because then I can basically use it on any combine and it doesn't look silly. Alright. Get our combine started up. We'll grab this header and take it on up to, I think it's field 17. Run this dude over. Squish. There we go. Yep, field 17. I'm probably not even going to take the time to set up course play or GPS mod for this. It's a tiny field and a really big combine, so I'll just go ahead and drive this one by hand. Let's see here. Lower header. Turn on combine. And away we go. And then, of course, the plan for this field, after I combine it, I'm going to come through and plant grass on it. And then, after I plant grass on it, I'm going to come through and plant trees. And then we're going to just grow trees. And when we go to harvest them, we can just pull the train around and park the train right here in front of us and load the trees directly on the train. And then I'll just keep this field as basically a kind of a permanent forest. And I got a couple other fields on the map that I'm going to do the same thing with them, and I'll just kind of keep those in rotation. Because obviously the trees take a little longer to grow than the rest of the crops, so we won't. Harvesting trees may not be a daily thing, but in between working our own fields, it'll definitely be something I'll be doing. So in addition to this Let's Play series, I've been working on some tutorial videos. If you haven't had a chance to check those out, I recommend you do. Right now it's kind of a game strategy tutorial series on some of the mechanics involving the economy in the game, as far as the sale price of crops, great demands, what sort of things could influence the sale prices of crops, things along those lines. So I have my best price cheat sheet, and so I'll be keeping an eye on market prices and selling crop when it gets down to an appropriate price. One of the things I had mentioned early on in this Let's Play series was that I typically wait for great demands, and one of the things I found while testing all this stuff in the game economy for the other series is that it's really not a valid strategy anymore in FS17 like it was in 15. So I won't really be waiting for great demands. I may not sell anything until I get a semi and a bigger trailer. I'll probably just keep stocking everything in my silos until I get to that point. But because one of the things that I found definitely does impact the price is selling. Literally selling causes the price to drop. And so, and in 15 it was every hour the prices would recalculate. And now it is immediate. So if you take a little trailer and sell a little bit of grain, you'll cause the price to drop. So you're better off to take a big trailer and sell it all at once, and then don't make any more trips for another day, or sell a different crop that you haven't impacted the price on. So that's why I'm gonna wait until I have a semi. Plus, most of the crops I have on hand, I don't even really have a semi load of them in stock yet, so it'll take a few harvests to really build up my inventory to the point where it'll be worth taking a semi load to sell it. So alright, we're almost done with this field here. Got one pass left. combine really does make quick work out of these little fields. Alright. Let's see here, we're going to turn off the combine. And see, I can't fold it because I've got grain in it, but I should be able to fold my header. Alright, okay, so now that's good enough to drive back to the farm. Rather than bring the trailer over here to unload it, I'm just going to drive this back to the farm as is. Well, I'll drive this back to field 24, and then I'll go get the tractor. Whoa. Oh. Man, this traffic is crazy in this game. Alright. I'm pretty sure this combine would have rocked that car. Whatever. Alright. Well, I'll pick this up when I get back to field 24. Alright, so we're back at field 24. I got my harvester ready to be unloaded here, so we're just going to pull up and let this thing unload. And then we'll go ahead and knock out this field too. I'm trying to remember what I put in field 24. I kind of think there should be something growing in there by now. Let's check. Or sorry, field 23. Oilseed radish. Yeah, it's just not growing yet. Interesting. Alright, there we go. I'm just gonna park this over here for now because we'll need to might need to unload that combine once before it's done with this field. Hopefully if our yield's any good. Alright. Turn on the combine. Get ourselves lined up. And off we go. So, other exciting news that happened since the last episode, we officially broke 100 subs. I think as of right now, when I'm recording this, I'm up to 117 for the channel, which is great. Big thanks to everyone who has subscribed. That's really cool. So thank you very much, and stick around. I'll be making plenty more videos. I plan on keeping it farming focused, although, like I said, I have been playing a little more No Man's Sky since the latest update, and so I'm not too sure if anyone on this channel would be interested in maybe not making it a regular occurrence, but posting, you know, if I post an occasional No Man's Sky video. They're definitely not very similar games. It's not like crossing over between Cattle and Crops and Farm Expert or something, but in the latest update they added base building, and one of the things you can do in your base, because you know it's space planetary exploration sort of deal, one of the things you can do in your base is grow crops in like a hydroponic lab. And so I actually do have a space farm running where I grow various plants in my space station and then sell them for money. So even though it's not it's not a traditional farming game, I somehow managed to work farming into it apparently. So I may make a short video just to kind of show it off and to demo the game for people who may not know anything about it. If you go by the reviews online, I feel bad for the team that wrote it. They got a lot of bad press because it was one of those games that was like really hyped up. There's a lot of people that made it out to be, I guess, in their, to a certain extent, that happens with Farming Simulator too, right? Where everyone knows it's coming for like years, and so we all sit around and imagine, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I had this? Wouldn't it be cool if I had that? And then the wouldn't it be cool suddenly become, oh, well, it's definitely going to have that. I mean, it has to have that, right? And then when it's released, it doesn't have that. And everyone's like, what? This game's a total ripoff. I thought it was going to have all this stuff. Well, no. I mean, everyone just kind of made up those features. So that was, No Man's Sky totally fell victim to that. There was a lot of people who, I think, overhyped it and made it out to be something more than it was. I mean, it's an indie game made by a relatively small dev shop. You gotta you gotta base your expectations on that. Like, so it definitely fell short of that. I think part of that was also Sony, because the game was released on PC and PS4. I think Sony rushed them. I think Sony had a deadline in mind and kind of pushed it on them. And the game, I don't think, was ready to be released when they released it. It wasn't that it was like buggy or unplayable. It was just that it was kind of missing some story. Like, it had a storyline, but I don't know. Like I said earlier, you got to a point where you're like, okay, well, I think I've done everything. And, you know, it's one of the cool things about the game is it's a procedurally generated solar system. So everything's procedurally generated. The planets, the solar systems, the terrain, the animals, the plants, everything's procedurally generated. And what that enabled them to do was to build a universe that had, I think, 18 quintillion planets. And so the point of the game was you should just, like, the point is there's no point, right? You should just kind of go around and explore and do whatever you want to do. And, you know, you're not, there's no, like, it's kind of like Farming Simulator, right? Like, there's no point, right? The point is to just drive the tractors and have fun. You're not, there's no storyline, right? So to a certain extent that was the point of the game, but some of the procedural generation of the planets was kind of weak and you know, it has this certain like crafting aspect to it too, where you go around and harvest different minerals and resources and then you use them to build things. Well, the stuff you could build was pretty limited. You could build like extensions for your tool and extensions for your ship, and then that was it. And the resources you needed to gather were surprisingly limited to, like, you know, 10 resources, if that. And so, you know, in a universe with 18 quintillion planets, you would think there'd be more resources and more things to do. And so this last update, they added that, right? They added freighters and base building and more elements and more things that you could craft, and that really added more depth to the gameplay. So that's why I've been getting back in it. I think I had, in the original version of the game, I had about 60 hours, according to Steam, of gameplay. And since the update, I've put another 50 hours into the game. And I've gotten to the point where I've, like, built a base to, not to my limit. I would love to keep making it bigger, and adding more stuff and making it more complicated and more elaborate. But I'm kind of left with the impression that the game itself is running into like a performance limitation because they have something in the game that limits like how big you can build your base and how many like objects you can use to build it. And I was kind of thinking that that limitation was there because of PS4. And, you know, because PS4 is a finite amount of hardware. Well, my computer is just a little bit, just a little bit more powerful than a PS4. So on PC, they give you there's a config file you can open, and then you can modify it to allow you to go past those limits. Well, I did that, and after going past the limits, the game has become like really unstable, and it crashes and stuff has stopped working. And so now I'm kind of like, oh well, that's a shame, because I've kind of, after playing it for another 50 hours, I'm starting to bump back into the problem that I had initially with the game, is that now I'm like, okay, well, I did all that stuff that they added. Now what? So the only thing I haven't done yet is with freighters. Like, I own a freighter. You go buy them like spaceships, and I have a freighter, but it's not maxed out, right? So I can get bigger ones. I can go buy bigger ones. They have the same basic principle with the multi-tool in your actual spaceship. You can like upgrade them and get bigger ones and then do more stuff with them. Well, with the freighters, you can get bigger freighters, but you have to buy them. And so that's where my base with my farm has come into play, is that I'm now using my base as a way to generate income to buy the bigger freighters. So really, once I've done that, then I will really be out of stuff to do. But you know, it's promising that they're releasing updates for it. The game has a lot of potential if they keep adding updates, and if they get a modding community like the like Farming Simulator's modding community. Because really, I mean, really when you think about it, Farming Simulator would kind of be in the same boat. Like, you could play this game for, I don't know, I've got 130 hours into it now. A lot of that's from testing for tutorials, not actual gameplay in this Let's Play series. But when you think about it, you might get 120 hours out of this game. And then if it wasn't for mods, you'd basically be at the point where you're like, all right, well, you know, now what am I supposed to do? Because it would just be more and more of the same thing. But the modding community is what turns it into a game that you can play for 100 hours into a game that you can do 1,000 hours in, because you can keep doing different maps and different pieces of equipment, and you know, you can just kind of go crazy with that stuff. Let's see here, sorry. I'm gonna put this in here, I guess. Oh, wrong button. There we go. And I'm gonna grab my other header, and we'll go do that soybean field. Come on. Come on. Nope, wrong way, wrong way. Where are you? There we go. If it wasn't for like that mailbox, I could probably just drive down here with the header attached to the front. Alright. I'm just gonna start from up here. Whoa! There's a cliff there. Alright. Attach that. Unfold this. Fold this. Lower that. Turn that on. Alright, and then interesting. I should have. Will it not let me? Oh, it's soybeans. It doesn't matter. I was gonna do a windrow, but it's soybeans. You can't make straw from soybeans. All right. And we're gonna have to figure out what we want to plant in these two fields over here. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to do a round of oilseed radish first, but. And then for the field where I'm gonna do the trees, I'm not gonna worry about fertilizing that. I have not tested it, but I really doubt that fertilization plays any role in tree yield. So I guess that's the other piece of equipment we're gonna have to buy is gonna be one of those tree planters, but if I remember right, those are really cheap. We'll probably spend more money on the pallets of trees. I'm not sure if it's just me or if my video quality seems a little bit jumpier than it used to be. I tried something different. I've got two two older Radeon cards in here. Older as in they were like top of the line 4 years ago, and I had them running in SLI, but I also run 4 screens, 4 displays, and I've got 3 big screens that I use for work, and then one 1080 monitor that I use for the game. Because of the way OBS works, in order to record a 1080 stream and then not have to change the like have it scale the resolution, it's easier if I just record it at the resolution that I want it to be at. So that's why I have the 1080 monitor. So what I did to get better performance in No Man's Sky, because both that game and this game, as far as I know, they do not support SLI. So I actually took my video card. I mean, you could run the GPU monitor with both games, and only one GPU would ever actually do any work. The other one would just sit there at idle. So neither game was really taking advantage of the SLI. So I pulled the 2 cards out of SLI, and I hooked my 3 big monitors that I use for work up to one of the video cards, and then the gaming monitor I put on its own video card. So what that lets me do is, you know, I've got OBS and Audacity and Steam and other programs and stuff running on my other screens. Well, whatever they're doing shouldn't take any CPU or GPU power away from the video card that's running Farming Simulator, or whatever game it is I'm recording. And in theory it should be giving me better graphics, but for some reason I just kind of like feel like it's been a little bit jumpier lately. And let's see, alright, I'll turn that off. put our spout out, and then I'm gonna just kind of pull it around here for now. And let's grab this guy. We gotta go dump it and then refill it. What was I saying? So yeah, but the video, I don't know why. It just seems like it's a little bit jumpier to me. And part of that could be, I think I just downloaded a new driver for it too, so I don't know if the drivers had any impact on it or not. Let's see, yep, unload, there we go. So, and I don't know how much of that really ever comes across in the YouTube videos. By the time I render them and then YouTube does its magic to them, you know, it's always questionable what the difference would really be. Alright, then we're going to grab these soybeans and we'll go dump them off. And then we will be done harvesting for today. Is it just me, or did they slow down the unload of those combines? I need to like fire up FS17 and fill one up and then time how long it takes to unload and compare it to that. But yeah, it seems like that takes a lot longer for the 5,000 liters of soybeans that it dumped. That took a long time. Alright, and then we're gonna unload this. Man, that was not a lot from that field. 5,000 liters of soybeans from that whole field? It's crazy. I guess I'll go through the barn. I didn't really want to. There we go. And we're gonna drop that off. I'm not gonna wash this. The tires are a little dirty, but the rest of it looks fine. Alright, put our pipe in and fold it. And I'm gonna be a rebel and just drive this thing back to the farm with a header on it, because it's right there. Let's see, we want to switch over to the header. As soon as we get past the mailbox, I'll unfold it here. There we go. Also not going to wash this. Again, it's mostly just the tires. Surprisingly clean for doing 3 fields. Alright, I think that's how I'm gonna handle the storage of that in the header. I'll grab this tray. See, right there, it was really jittery when I walk sideways. So that's the sort of stuff I gotta look into. I am... if it wasn't for the fact that I'm spending money on Christmas presents, it would not take much to convince me to go out and buy one of those shiny new 1080 Ti's. Although, if I do that, then I have to also buy 144 hertz, you know, G-Sync monitor to play on, because then I'll probably have a video card that can output 4 times the refresh rate that my monitor can handle, and it'll just be tearing and clipping all day long, so I already have really bad tearing issues in No Man's Sky. One of the reasons why I was reluctant to make videos of it until I get that figured out. Every time I walk into my base, the screen tears in 3 places on the screen, so. Alright, so let's see, what did we do there? So we harvested 3 fields. We got field 17, 24, 19. Got a decent amount of corn. I think I didn't have any corn at all in inventory until just now. And now I'm up to, yeah, 31,000 liters of corn. Wow. I'm second only to wheat for inventory. Not too shabby. Which makes sense, because corn has a really bad per ton price. Although the wheat per ton price here isn't great. This goes a lot higher than this. But corn, I guess, produces more tonnage per acre, I guess. Yeah. So, neat. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I'm going to try and keep these things closer to a half hour each. I guess they're a little more watchable that way. It's really hard for me to judge the length of these videos because I have been trying to fast forward through the boring stuff. And normally I would fast forward through harvesting, but since I kind of had running commentary all day today, I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I won't fast forward through most of this video, so yeah, so I'll go ahead and leave this one here, and then in the next episode we are going to work on field 17, getting it ready for trees. So alright, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That really helps a lot. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm Kentucky Farmer. Thanks for watching.